of flying? Do you want to soar with the hawks? Feel the wind in your face as you fly low and slow over California's beautiful high desert? You can learn to fly an ultralight airplane. Whether you're an experienced pilot or new to aviation, you can become an ultralight pilot in just a few short lessons. An ultralight is a single-seat airplane that weighs no more than 254 pounds, carries only 5 gallons of fuel, and has a top speed of 65 miles per hour in level flight. There are many ultralight designs. Most are built from aluminum tubing and have colorful Dacron wings. Ultralights have an excellent safety record. Ultralights have been around for 25 years and there have been constant improvement in the designs. The planes are stressed to withstand 7 to 10 positive Gs and 3 to 7 negative, depending on the model. Most ultralights are equipped with ballistic parachutes. In case of major structural failure, the pilot pulls the red handle and the parachute deploys in 2 seconds and lowers both the plane and the pilot to safety. If the engine quits, the plane glides to a safe landing. The safety of any plane depends upon how well it is maintained and how competent the pilot is. You don't need a pilot's license to fly ultralights, but to fly safely, you should take instruction from a qualified flight instructor. The FAA has delegated authority to instruct to the U.S. Ultralight Association, a pilot's organization, and we adhere to their training program. How long will it take to learn to fly? The USUA program is a minimum of 10 hours flying time. It takes most people between 12 and 15 hours to complete the course.
Well, Steve, in celebration of your first solo flight, I'd like to present this certificate to you. Job well done.
Thank you.
We have a little bit of a tradition here, which states that once you grow up and once you grow up and leave the nest, we need to clip your tail feathers so that you'll never be able to fly too far away. Very good.
Ultralights are the affordable branch of aviation. At $75 an hour for instruction, for about $800 you can learn to fly. Planes cost between $5,000 and $25,000 to buy, and most maintenance can be done by the owner. Compare this to general aviation. It costs at least $3,000 to learn to fly. Planes cost between $30,000 and $150,000 for entry-level, single-engine planes, and all maintenance must be performed by a certified airframe and power plant mechanic. Most ultralights are shipped from the factory as kits. Assembly can take anywhere between 40 and 400 hours. This can be a fun project for the person who is handy with tools and enjoys building things. If you would prefer professional assembly, Super Silver Aircraft can put your plane together for you. They have experience with a wide variety of ultralight aircraft, including Rands, Quicksilver, Hurricane, and Flightstar. You might consider a used ultralight for an even more affordable alternative. All used ultralights offered for sale by Super Silver have been completely inspected and rebuilt as necessary.
The costs are much less in ultralights compared to the single-seat general aviation, Pipers, Cessnas, that type of plane. The cost of buying the plane is lower, the cost of instruction to become a fully qualified pilot is lower, the cost of maintaining the aircraft is lower, and the cost of keeping the aircraft stored is lower. To buy a plane, for example, a general aviation plane will cost you between $15,000 to $75,000. At $15,000, you're going to get a very old plane with needing a lot of work. Ultralights, you can get yourself a really fine used plane starting at $5,000, and at $15,000 you're bumping the top of the line. To learn to fly, it takes about $1,000 to learn to fly an ultralight, and it takes about $6,000 to learn to fly general aviation planes. The reason is you need fewer hours to learn to fly an ultralight.
I enjoy flying the big planes with all the navigational aids and radios and knobs and dials. But when I get into my ultralight, it's me, the stick, and just a few little gauges. It's back to stick and rudder flying. no talking to approach control, no rule, flight plans to follow or approaches to follow. It's just going out and having a good time.
Purchasing airplanes, we sell new and used. To a newcomer, I recommend strongly they do not buy a new airplane. It's a big investment. I feel you're much better off to buy a used entry-level airplane such as a Quicksilver MX in the $5,000 to $6,000 range, fly it for a year, and at the end of a year you'll be knowledgeable enough to know what you want to make a big investment in. Then buy your expensive airplane and trade your used one back in or have us resell it for you. But take a year in a used one to learn all about ultralights.
Well, hi. For those of you interested in ultralight flying, and the Antelope Valley is really a beautiful place for it, we feel that we work very hard at the Bryan Ranch facility to bring the cost of ultralight flying down. We do have hangar space out here, and we've really been able to keep the cost down by putting 2 aircraft into the one hangar. And that minimizes hangar rash. We keep the cost down, 24-foot wide, 54-foot deep. And it really does keep them out of the weather, keeps them out of the sun, which can be damaging, and occasionally when the wind comes up, it's a big advantage.
Bryan Ranch Airport is the home of the Aviators, an official USUA club. The Aviators hold a competition once a month. Events can include the beanbag bomb drop, spot landings, beanbag torpedo toss, and cross-country flights. Pilots can even accumulate national points. On any Saturday or Sunday, you can find pilots holding practice competitions or organizing a cross-country breakfast flight.
Bryan Ranch Airport has a club called the Aviators, and we do a lot of different things, but one of the things that I enjoy the most is the competition flying. It counts for USUA points, national rated, and even if you've gone out and just done a few times, you find your name printed in the paper and a USUA rating. I'm number 7 in the United States, and that was a very good feeling to see that. What competition is a grouping of about, maybe 4 events. And if you've never seen one, it looks like somebody hit the hornet's nest and all the bees came flying out all at once. And it involves
beanbag dropping.
Beanbag dropping, yeah. That's probably one of the more difficult ones, where from an altitude of 100 feet, you drop a beanbag filled with, beans or sand, to your liking. We have both kinds. And you try to hit as close to a target as you can, first place being the closest dropped. And this, of course, is worth a certain amount of points. Also, there's a torpedo drop where you fly as low as you can, or dare to, and throw a beanbag underneath a target, and it can skip and hit the ground first, but the idea is that it hits a target or underneath a little barrier. And that is also, what's my second favorite one. Yeah. Another one, which Dina's better at than I am, I'll admit, is the spot landing.
I'm good at that one.
This involves landing your aircraft on the line, drawn across the runway, and the closest to that wins that competition. Dina, I might add, is the #1 female at this competition game in the United States.
And I don't bend tubes when I land.
She doesn't bend any tubes.
The scenic desert around Bryan Ranch Airport is the ideal place to fly ultralights. The high desert is dotted with small airports that welcome ultralights. Private airfields and dry lakes are popular cross-country destinations. The FAA asks ultralights not to fly over built-up areas. Ultralights can land at any airport with prior permission, and of course they must avoid any restricted areas such as Edwards Air Force Base. Every year, on Memorial Day weekend, Bryan Ranch Airport holds an air show. Pilots from all over Southern California come to perform for the spectators. You can be one of these pilots.